With the news coming out of Phoenix that the Suns are going to be benching Yusuf Nurkic and Bradley Beal, and then we have news from Miami that Jimmy Butler requests a trade. There's 1 month until the trade deadline. Let's look at some of these possible trades that could be coming up around the NBA, casuals only. Let's get it. Bleacher Report dropped this article today, January 6th, called Bold 2025 NBA Trade Deadline Predictions with 1 month to go. I want to look into it and see what they have because I did see my Detroit Pistons are on here. So I'm excited to read more through this article. Some news on Jimmy Butler and the Phoenix Suns, also interesting. So let's get it. With the trade deadline just 1 month away, meaning we could see a lot of action over the next 4 weeks. Here are some stars potentially on the move. Butler and the Miami Heat are at an impasse. Butler doesn't think he can be happy in Miami. De'Aaron Fox's situation with the Kings is worth monitoring, and plenty of other veteran teams in the West look like they'll need to make a roster move to guarantee a playoff spot. With the 2025 trade deadline quickly drawing near, it's time to make some bold predictions. Starting with my team, the Detroit Pistons. And I love to see this. As of right now, the Detroit Pistons are sitting at 17 and 18. Tonight we play the Portland Trailblazers. We did recently lose out on Jaden Ivey for the rest of the year, possibly. He broke his fibula. So there's a chance we don't see Jaden Ivey back for the rest of the season, meaning, are we going to be buyers? Are we going to try and bring in somebody else to fill in the shoes of Jaden Ivey? Or are we going to be one of those teams that are taking on large contracts in order to get young players or assets such as first, second round picks? That's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't want to take on anybody that's going to try and help us win now because we're not in that scenario in which we have to start winning now. But anyways, it says the Detroit Pistons have been one of the feel-good stories of the 24-25 season, already eclipsing their win total from last season. We're 17 and 18 compared to the 14 and 68 record from last season. Are holding steady in the East play-in tournament. Unfortunately, a broken fibula suffered by Jaden Ivey, the team's second leading scorer, has put a dent in those playoff hopes. Ivy could still return, yet is expected to miss at least most of the remainder of the season, according to Shams. While the Pistons haven't been buyers in what seems like forever, this trade deadline will be different. Detroit is in good financial shape, can trade multiple first-round picks in 29 and 31, and has a number of promising young stars to offer in a deal. This is a team that's built to take a gamble on a talented yet flawed star, someone like Zach LaVine or Brandon Ingram, who could help bolster the 18th ranked offense. This is also a sneaky landing spot for Jimmy Butler, especially if Tobias Harris was part of the return, giving Detroit a proven playoff leader and someone that could be motivated to carry this young core to the postseason for the first time since 2019. That's actually crazy. Detroit was one of the teams that I really wanted to go after Jimmy low-key. I thought he'd just at least be fun in Detroit. I know I did just mention that I don't want to bring in anybody that is going to make us suddenly a contender, or at least put all these expectations on this young core that finally is reaching a point of no expectations and overshooting those expectations rather than having very base level expectations and falling below that. I didn't want to bring in somebody that's going to raise our expectations even more to the point that we may not hit that. And that's what Jimmy Butler could possibly do. But the thought of bringing in Jimmy is fun because we know what kind of player Jimmy Butler is, and we know what he does for a team. We've seen him bring the Miami Heat to 2 NBA finals where they probably didn't belong low key. And we know what Jimmy does. We know what he can bring, the type of leadership he brings, the type of, tenacity, the type of game he has. It could be fun for Detroit. Nonetheless, the Philadelphia 76ers playing better basketball lately, threatening to knock the Detroit Pistons out of the play-in race. Expect the Pistons to be the surprise buyers of the deadline. I did also see, who was it? Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Kevin O'Connor mentioned the Miami Heat get Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. The Phoenix Suns get Jimmy Butler, and the Pistons get Bradley Beal, which I would hate that even more than getting Jimmy Butler. Give me Jimmy Butler over Bradley Beal for sure. Miami Heat given to Jimmy Butler's trade request. Throughout Jimmy Butler's career, at times, his greatest opponent has been his own team. We're seeing this play out once again as Butler is looking for his joy in any place other than Miami, as he indicated to the team that he wishes for a trade, according to ESPN's Sham and Brian Windhorst. Of course, this comes roughly a week after team president Pat Riley released a statement saying that the Heat would not trade Butler. Even though Riley holds more power than most executives around the league, even he will realize that a trade is what's best for both parties, especially since Butler can leave as an unrestricted free agent this summer. This is something I said in my last video. Pat Riley needs to just trade Jimmy Butler. It's going to be the best situation for both parties. Jimmy doesn't want to be in Miami. You shouldn't want him there anymore either. There's no reason to hold somebody captive in a place they don't want to be because you're not going to get the full value of Jimmy Butler's $48 million contract if Jimmy Butler's not going to be Jimmy Butler. With Bam and Tyler Hero both playing at all-star levels, is Bam playing at an all-star level? I don't think he is. I thought he was having a pretty bad season. Maybe it's changed in the last week or two, but I didn't think Bam was having a good season. Tyler Hero is playing phenomenal, though. Both playing at all-star levels, having a moping Butler around is only going to waste a season that could still end in a playoff run. Exactly what I'm trying to say. Miami's wish list of potential returns could include players of Jonathan Kuminga from the Golden State Warriors, Michael Porter Jr., Keegan Murray, trade package of picks and young talent from the Rockets, taking back Bradley Beal in his 3-year, $161 million contract from the Suns shouldn't even be considered. Wow, taking back Bradley Beal in his 3-year, $161 million contract from the Suns shouldn't even be considered. And as I just said, Kevin O'Connor mentioned that the only way that that kind of deal would happen is if the Detroit Pistons help facilitate that and take on Bradley Beal's contract in exchange for Tobias and Tim Hardaway Jr. to go to Miami. As a Piston fan, if I'm going to be taking on Bradley Beal's $160 million contract for the next 3 years, I got to get some picks, man. I got to get something from them or throw me Ryan Dunn, but they're obviously not going to throw Ryan Dunn in. I want picks or something to facilitate that Bradley Beal trade. What happens when two of the most stubborn personalities in the NBA go head to head? Butler will win this round, and in time, Riley will come away a winner as well. Okay, so those first two scenarios, the Pistons and the Heat, are the two that I am most caught up on. Obviously, the Pistons being my team, so I'm in that loop. And I just made a video on Jimmy Butler and read through a lot of articles recently about that, so I'm pretty caught up on that. But coming to De'Aaron Fox, I'm excited to read this one. This is one I haven't really heard a ton about. I know it's out there, but I'm excited about this. De'Aaron Fox stays in Sacramento, but Kings listen to trade offers again this summer. So this sounds like it's something that may not happen before the trade deadline. De'Aaron Fox is potentially the biggest name on the trade market this year if the Sacramento Kings agree to shop him. The 27-year-old is putting up an even better numbers now: 26 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, 1.5 steals per game. That's better than his all-star season of 2023 and is making a career-high 80% free throw percentage. Teams like the Orlando Magic, Lakers, Rockets, Heat could all use this scoring and playmaking. Those are all teams that are always talked about this stuff, but he'd be really fun in Orlando. He'd be a ton of fun in Orlando. I think Houston would also be a lot of fun for him. Miami would be fun, I think, if they were able to keep Jimmy Butler, but I don't think Fox, Hero, and Bam is any better than what the Kings have right now. I don't know if that really makes any sort of run. It's too bad the Kings won't trade Fox now. Despite a 17-19 record sitting at number 11 in the West, Sacramento could feel no pressure to trade its franchise floor general. A head coaching change has already been made. First round pick Devin Carter has finally made his debut following shoulder surgery, and this should be an active team at the trade deadline looking to improve their roster. Fox is still under contract for next season at $37 million. He'll be eligible to sign an extension. The former number 5 overall pick decides this summer if he wants to play somewhere else. Sacramento can still shop him for a big return. For now, expect the Kings to remain the Kings. I guess it says Fox to remain a King. Warriors trade for an impact star. This is somewhere else. I've been seeing Jimmy Butler rumored to. Going to 6-14 in their last 20 games, it's clear that Golden State Warriors can't sit idly by this trade deadline. Steph Curry no longer looks like he needs a number 2 scoring option, but rather that he's actually become one. Wow, bold statement. Bold statement. Just 2 months shy of his 37th birthday, his 22.5 points are the lowest since 2011-2012. Wow. The aging Warriors need more help and can get it at the trade line. First call should be made to the big fish in the league. Guys like LeBron, Jimmy, LaMelo should be at the top of the Warriors wish list, whether their respective teams want to part with them or not. It's actually funny. They could have just drafted LaMelo Ball instead of James Wiseman. Now they have to trade for LaMelo possibly, and they're not going to be able to. The Hornets are not letting go of LaMelo. From there, Golden State should look to bolster its 18th ranked offense with plan B options like Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Julius Randle, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and Cam Johnson. Oh my gosh, that's so bad. That is so bad. None of those players do anything better to help the Warriors. That's disgusting. Expect the Golden State Warriors to be extremely active before the deadline. Literally disgusting options here. Players I would take: Jeremy Grant, Kyle Kuzma, I guess, Cam Johnson, but none of those dudes will get me anywhere, to be honest. That's terrible. And lastly, trade 5 of 5. LeBron James and the Lakers have serious discussion about trade opportunities. Trading LeBron James. The Lakers at 20-15 are basically as close to the number 4 seed in the West as they are to falling out of the play-in tournament. A lot can happen between now and mid-April in a loaded Western Conference, including the potential trade of LeBron James. James was positive, yet non-committal when asking about spending the end of his career with the Lakers. I came here to play the last stage of my career and to finish it off here, but I'm also not silly or too jaded to know the business of the game as well, to know the business of basketball. But I think my relationship with this organization speaks for itself, James told reporters. Let's not forget that the Golden State Warriors called about James's availability around this time last year, and the Lakers owner Jeannie Buss gave Warriors owner Joe Lacob permission to speak with LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, about his preferences. James isn't committed to the Lakers this past season as he holds a $52.6 million player option for next year. That's so much money. The four-time MVP also said on record that he didn't think Los Angeles was good enough to win a championship right now. Is Curry and LeBron a better duo than LeBron and AD? I honestly think the surrounding cast around LeBron and AD and the Lakers is better than the surrounding cast that would be around LeBron and Steph Curry on the Warriors, if that makes sense. Like, I'd rather have the pieces of the Warriors. I think Austin Reeves connect. They just traded for DFS. Is that all they got? The Warriors did just bring in Dennis Schroeder. They're gonna have to get rid of Jonathan Kuminga. Moses Moody is probably out of there. I don't know. That's a sticky situation. If the Lakers go on a mini slide and fall back to 500 or below, expect both James and the organization to have some serious discussions about his future, including taking trade calls up until the deadline. With James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Jimmy Butler all nearing the end of their Hall of Fame careers, be surprised if the two of these stars end up together before the end of the season. So with all of that being said, what am I most surprised of? I think the Pistons are going to be buyers, whether that means, or sellers. They could move on from Malik Beasley. He's playing so well, they could probably get something from him, as much as I don't want to see him go. Jimmy Butler is definitely on his way out and most likely to, I guess, the Phoenix Suns or the Golden State Warriors. I don't know. Kings maybe could be in there. De'Aaron Fox will be staying in Sacramento most likely, is what it sounds like. The Warriors could trade for, what'd they say, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Julius Randle, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Cam Johnson. I don't know if any of that really makes them a contender. And then LeBron James and Steph Curry could possibly play together. They probably will not, most likely, but it would be great for NBA. The NBA ratings would absolutely skyrocket if they were able to get that, or able to make that happen. All I know is teams like Miami, Phoenix, LA, Golden State, Sacramento, most of those teams got to shake it up, do something to increase their chances of making the playoffs and going on a run, because you don't want to watch these older stars fall out of the league like this. And you also don't want to see the fun young Sacramento Kings from the last 2 seasons go back to NBA purgatory, man. That's the last thing you want, especially as a Kings fan, man, an NBA fan. The Kings are one of my favorite teams to watch. Feels bad. Feels good to be a Pistons fan, though. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all of you. Let me know your thoughts on all of these trade packages, or at least these trade rumors, destinations for these guys, what you want to see, who you guys want to see team up, all of that. I appreciate everybody. Casuals only. I'm out.